Wow. This is crazy. So, okay, I just did this entire workshop on Instagram Live and I did not press live on StreamYard. So, I'm going to do it again so that it can go to YouTube. Wow. Okay, so that's crazy. I have to just even reset in my entire mind. Okay, so let me get my thoughts together. Let's do this again. It probably is not going to even sound the same because I'm a different person. But what I did notice on Instagram Live is that I was twisting and turning a lot, and that's terrible. So, all right, so here we go. Okay. Good evening. My name is Aisha Isreal. I am the CEO and founder of Boss Chicks International LLC. It is a directory and network of ambitious entrepreneurial women. Not all are business owners, but all are leading women. And so we are here to help you build your network as well as your net worth. All right. And so come on in, make sure that you make connections. That's what we're all about. I'm here to be a resource for you. I'm also a life coach slash relationships coach. And so that's my specialty. I don't believe that success is worth it without love. And so I'm here to help you balance the two, power and passion, mastering success without sacrificing love. The reason that I came up with this course is because I do have ambitious and successful and prosperous friends who have made many gains, and I'm very proud of what they've done. But now that they've reached a level of success where they can kind of relax, we're older and the pickings are kind of slim. So I want to make sure that you identify true love when it's available to you and those doors are open and you can see it and know right away. Because one thing about entrepreneurial women, we are serious about our time and not wasting it. So I'm here to help you do that, right? Make sure you continue to be successful. Make sure you continue to monitor your multiple streams of income, but also that you are available when love comes to you and that you recognize it and don't throw it away, right? With a lot of questions and second guessing and any of that. All right, so let's move on. All right, so my story. I'm Aisha. Hi. So, my childhood. I was born and raised in Southern California by my two biological parents. I grew up in Inglewood, South Central, San Fernando Valley, and both of my parents were in my life. They were married for 49 and a half years before my dad passed away. So they were very serious about being married, being in love. I can tell you for sure that my dad was in love with my mom to the day he died. And I just, I loved seeing him adore her. I learned a lot about communication. I learned a lot about resilience. I learned a lot about respect. I learned a lot about companionship, trust. I'm trying to think. Those are probably for me the top. And if I didn't say communication, that's definitely in there. And so when it comes to me, I was married to a young man who was also raised by both of his parents. And unbeknownst to me, our childhoods were different. I guess I went into the relationship assuming that our childhood, our childhoods and upbringing were the same because we both came from two parent families, both claimed to be Christian and all of that. So I assumed a lot. And I'm here to tell you that you need to ask questions. That is what I told my current husband. I'm like, please understand that I am not going to assume hardly anything. I'm going to ask questions and things need to add up. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. I don't want to be in a space that's not safe. Right. So, hence, I went through a divorce, which was It wasn't a good divorce, but it probably wasn't as bad as it could have been, considering my knowledge of some other people's divorces and what they've been through. Um, I won't say that my divorce was traumatic, but the marriage that led to the divorce was very traumatic. And so I aim to save people time, show them red flags, help them with that so that they don't endure the same thing that I endured. And so at the bottom of that, I am currently married to the love of my life. We are 6.5 years in as far as the marriage is concerned. And I believe we dated, let's see, we dated for probably 2.5 years. We were engaged for less than a year, and we've been married for 6.5. So we're doing pretty good. And that's why I'm here to help you, because I'm happy, and happy people usually want other people around them to be happy. So I'm here to share the information and share the happiness, because I want you to feel what I feel. And I will say this, a lot of times we don't really know that we haven't experienced true love before until we experience it. But when you experience it, when you get that, man, it's nothing better. All right, so let's talk about this. Success and love. Can you have both? Can you balance the two? Absolutely. Otherwise, I wouldn't be giving this workshop, right? You can have them, but you need to learn how you can maintain them, especially for us ambitious, entrepreneurial, successful women and business owners. Balance is important, but a lot of times we're go, go, go. We don't get a lot of sleep. We have so much on our plate. Our calendar is full. And typically we just don't schedule in love, right? So I'm just trying to help, because I want everybody happy and in love. All right, so success. How do you measure success? One thing that I can say is that success is an individual barometer, right? So what I feel is success might not be what you think is success, but what success means is it's the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. So you set out to do something, you have a desire, and if you reach your goal, if you accomplish that, then you are successful. No matter what that is, right? If you just say, I am not going to drink coffee for a week, and you make it to the end of the week without coffee, those of you who are coffee drinkers know that's a lot, right? That's a lot to ask. But if you make it, then you are successful. And those of us who have been trying to do something for a long time and you finally do it, that feels amazing. So I will say right now I'm on a weight loss journey. And when I set out on this journey, let's see, I believe my goal was to lose 30 pounds. And so far, I've lost about 20. So I'm excited, but I haven't met my goal just yet. But I'm excited because those 20 pounds lets me know that I'm on the right track and that I can do it. All right, so now prosperity. The difference between prosperity and success is that prosperity just has a financial base, right? So if you're prosperous, that means you have financial or material success. So it's not necessarily just money or dollars, it's also assets, what you've obtained, right? What you can show for your success. All right. And so how important is prosperity? Well, for those of us who are business owners, it's important. What's the point, right? If you're doing something um without the goal of increasing your income, I just wouldn't call you an entrepreneur or a business owner, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's where you are and what your life is, that's cool. But I'm speaking to the ambitious, powerful, successful, entrepreneurial business owners, women, leaders, all of that. Okay, that's just my demographic. All right, so now how important is love? So love is an essential need. It is an essential human need. Those individuals who are raised in an environment with a lack of love, um, they're suffering. It is not something that we were intended to endure without. I wholeheartedly believe that. So while we are out there in the hustle and bustle, meeting our goals and making connections and making moves and increasing our streams of income and all of that, and purchasing homes and properties and businesses and just other types of assets, it's just not the same without love, right? And so that's why I'm here to make sure that you don't sacrifice love for success. And let me be clear, I'm talking about true love. I'm not talking about sex. I'm not talking about physical gratification. I'm talking about love. And we'll get into what that is in a minute. So, now, how do you know when you love someone? So a lot of times we equate love with those butterfly feelings, right? You just can't stop thinking about somebody, and every time you think about that person, you smile. So that is a byproduct, right? That is a result of love. It's a stage called infatuation. And it's usually in the beginning stages, but a lot of times it recycles, right? So, like I said, I've been currently married for 6.5 years, and we dated for a little while, and we're engaged for a little while. And so, of course, at the beginning, for me to even just accept the commitment to someone, I had those butterfly feelings. I also, we talked on the phone to the wee hours of the morning because we didn't want to get off the phone. And yes, as very grown people, we have both been married before. We both had kids, and so yeah, we were grown, but we still encountered the infatuation stage. And so then, of course, you get to the time where you want to move to the next level. So we got engaged, and then after that we got married, right? And today I'm totally in love with my husband. Maybe yesterday he got on my nerves, right? That doesn't mean I don't love him. And so that's why I want to make sure that we're clear about love, because there are people who have been in situations where they think they're no longer in love, or they no longer love somebody, or that the other person doesn't love them anymore because they're not in the infatuation stage anymore. And that's just a stage. It's a part of all of this, right? But for those of you who have been in a relationship or relationships for a long time, you know that there's a cycle, right? There are days or periods where you're in love and you just can't get enough of the person, and then there are times when you're like, how long are you gonna be here? Don't you have something to do? Don't you have friends? Anything like that. It happens, right? It doesn't mean you don't like that person, but we have cycles. Relationships have cycles. We as people need personal space. It's a real thing, and it's okay. All right. So, how do you know when someone loves you? So, I will first start with the fact that my foundation is the Bible, right? And so, I'm going to refer to the love scripture, because there's not a whole lot in life that I feel you can't go to the Bible for your answer. That's real talk for me. That's my foundation. I believe God is love, and I believe that He's the creator, and that, I mean, He's the reason for all of this. So why wouldn't you go to the source? Is really where I am. So anyway, so the love scripture, First Corinthians 13. Please excuse my fumble. Just a reminder, love is an action word. Love is something that you do, it's a commitment. But anyway, the scripture says, love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. This is something that you can print out, write down, keep it in front of you, just to make sure that you're on point. This is one of those things that I use for you to make sure you're not wasting your time, right? So if you're with somebody, people have bad days too now. So don't think that somebody has to do this all the time, every day, but it's about character. So if the person that you are in a relationship with, or considering being in a relationship with, is never ever patient with you and never ever kind, why are you thinking that they're in love? Or why are you thinking that this is a love relationship? They should be treating you as something or someone important in their lives, something precious, something that you care for. And so, yeah, you can, and I understand you can have a bad day and somebody can get on your nerves and they might not be moving fast enough. But if that's you all the time, if that's that person all the time, you might want to rethink if this is love or if this is a toxic situation, right? Also, it's not arrogant or rude. Now, does that mean that you can't be in love with somebody who uh, thinks they're attractive or really smart or anything like that? Some people might call them conceited or self-centered. Doesn't mean that, but how they treat you. Do they always put you down? Do they always say that they're better than you? Are they just, again, for me, it says arrogant and rude, but again, to me, it just seems not kind. But somebody who thinks more highly of themselves that they ought to, and they just treat you any kind of way, don't make excuses for that. That's not okay. And it doesn't insist on its own way. So now, I'm a strong-willed person, right? I consider myself intelligent. I'm educated. I'm accomplished. I know what I want. Um, I would love to get my way, right? But I'm a grown up. I'm mature, and I realize that part of being in a relationship is considering other people. So, um, it's okay to know what you want, but it's not okay to never consider the person you're in a relationship with, to always insist that your way is the only way, or just not even make room for the other person to have thoughts or feelings. It's not okay. Irritable or resentful. So, like I said, we're talking about character. We're not talking about somebody having a bad day. You can't be with somebody and, something they do irritates you and you make it like that's just the person, right? Only if it's something that happens all the time in their character, but not a bad day. There's a difference between, for example, somebody having the blues and somebody battling depression, right? So I might be sad because, I don't know, I really wanted to get this dress that was at the store, right? And at the time, maybe I forgot my wallet. I don't know, whatever. Or maybe I didn't have time to stand in the long line at the department store. So I come back and it's not there, right? But I really had my heart set on getting that dress. So I might be a little sad about that. Not so sad that I'm gonna let that ruin my day, but it might be on my mind for a while because I may have thought about where I was gonna wear that dress, thought about how good I was gonna look in that dress, so many different things, right? And so somebody, let's say my husband, may call me at the time, right when I realize that I can't get this dress and I don't like it, right? And I may snap at them, not intentionally. And I hope I don't do that a lot. I'm just trying to come up with a possible situation. Um, but my husband should know that I'm having a bad day, right? He should not think that I'm just this horrible person who resents him or anything like that. So I'm just saying, be careful about characterizing someone as opposed to momentary behavior. But anyway, let's move on because I'm spending a lot of time. All right. So the 5 love languages. It's important that you know the 5 love languages and how you communicate love, because it's important for you to know how your partner communicates love, but it's also for you to tell your partner how you receive love. Because if somebody cares about you, that's going to be important to them because they want you to know that they love you and they want to make sure you receive it as love, right? So let's go over this really quickly. So the love languages are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. Some of you may look at the list and think you know what your love language is. Some of you may have taken the test, and so you definitely know. But I will tell you that looking at that list does not necessarily give you your answer, but you have to watch yourself and how you receive things when your partner gives them to you. So, are you a person who feels like verbal communication is encouraging, affirmative, active, and appreciative? And it's very important. Like, you just can't be in a relationship without that. So, there are people who need to hear every day, sometimes several times a day, I love you, right? Some people need for their partner to say, you look good in that dress. Some people need for their partner to say, when they walk by, right? If they don't do those things, then you might feel, or your partner might feel unloved. And that's okay if that's your love language. But you need to communicate that, because you don't want to be in this relationship thinking that your partner doesn't love you because they don't do those things. Because I will tell you, when my husband and I first got married, I remember saying something about him not saying, I love you. And his response was, do I need to say I love you for you to know that I love you? And he kind of like listed some ways, that I should know that he loves me. And not thinking that I'm a words of affirmation type of person, because again, I said I'm a strong-willed person. I know what I want. I have self-confidence. So I don't necessarily need anybody to say that I did a good job, because I have my own measuring stick, right? But something about that I love you. And maybe it comes from me hearing my parents say that to each other every single day. Maybe that means something to me. But I had to tell them, I was like, yeah, I think that saying that keeps you on point. But I will get to what my love language is, and maybe just the fact that he says that, it's not necessarily the words, but the action, right? The thought to say it is more of an act of service. But I don't know. Let's see. So acts of service is doing activities that make life easier or more enjoyable for the other person. So I can tell you hands down, without a shadow of a doubt, this is my number one love language. When my husband does something for me, I feel loved. And one of the things is basically doing what he said he was going to do, whatever that is. So if he said he was going to check the mail, he checked the mail. I mean, that's important to me. My husband said he was going to bring me something at work. He brings it. That's important to me. My husband said he's going to take out the garbage. And mind you, he doesn't have to say it, but just doing that, right? If he takes my car and washes it, if he takes out the garbage, if he pays, a bill that I wasn't expecting him to pay. If he surprises me with a vacation. So those type of things, just making my life easier, I can tell you 100% that's my number one love language. Is it my only one? Nope. I think I probably have all five, but maybe because I've done so much research, and I don't know, I've been on this planet a while. But anyway, receiving gifts. Feeling most loved when your partner gives you something heartfelt and meaningful, no matter how big or small the gift. I like gifts. Never even really thought about gifts until I was married to my husband, and maybe before we got married, because that was new for me. But I don't remember not feeling love by not receiving a lot of gifts from other people. But my husband likes to give me jewelry and designer purses and trips, and he might just come home with, like, I don't know, a salmon dinner. I don't know. He likes to give me things, and he often thinks about me, and I know that I need to work on that. However, I know I'm not good at it either, because I have tried really hard, like, to get my husband expensive gifts, because I know he spends money on the gifts that he gives to me. And then I don't see my husband use those gifts. Like, he might use them once or twice, really, like, to say thank you, I appreciate it. But then I'm like, where's that watch I bought you? Where's this such and such? So um it's interesting to me that he likes to give me gifts, but he's not really looking for gifts. And he's not, I don't know, unless I'm just giving him the wrong gifts. But I usually ask or pay attention to what he wants or needs. I don't know. We're not going to talk about my personal life. This is a workshop. All right. So quality time centered around togetherness, expressing your love and affection with your undivided attention. So quality time. I thought I was a quality time person, and not saying that it's not important to me, but Like, I'm fine with my husband being in the house, being in the bed next to me. Um, but I have noticed that when I'm talking to him, I do want his attention. It's kind of offensive if I'm trying to tell you about my day, and most of the time it's on the phone, right? I'm telling him about my day, or I'm telling him an experience that I had. There's a big difference to me between him interacting in the conversation and me either hearing silence or just one of those yeah, or something where I can tell he's not paying attention. I'm like, yeah, I'll just talk to you at another time. Like, I I like to talk, but I don't like to talk just to hear myself talk. Like, I like to engage in conversation. So if that's not what we're about to do, we can just talk at another time. So that's me. I like undivided attention. That makes me feel loved and important. All right, physical touch. Expressing and receiving affection through touch, physical closeness, and other forms of physical connection. Um, I think that's my husband's number one, but he says it's not. I don't know, y'all. Okay, but anyway, so if you have to have a hug, I have to have a hug too, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't need as much physical touch all the time. Like, I like to hug people, and I'm a hugger, but I don't know. I'm not offended if you don't want to hug me though. I'm not. All right. So, success versus love. Oh my goodness, we have less than 4 minutes left. Okay, so success versus love. If you could have only one, which would you choose? I'm going to let you think about that. But my goal and my purpose is for you to accept both and to learn how to balance them. So that comes for you having a plan for success. And so Benjamin Franklin has this a famous quote: if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So a plan is very important, especially if failure is not something you are okay with. Like, who does all these things to fail? Like, that's not usually the goal. All right. So now, as a life coach, what I typically tell my clients is to envision yourself living your best life. You may have to close your eyes, right? Think about it. Get a picture in your mind. Where are you? What's the weather like? What are the sounds around you? How does it feel? If you're in your house or your home, what do you see? How big is your house? What's in your house? Those type of things. What is living your best life? Somebody's living their best life might be one of those tiny homes. Have you seen that show? A tiny home, but they're traveling around the world on a regular basis. Every weekend or every month, they're in a different place. Whatever living your best life means to you, get that vision, write it down, and then we make a plan so that you can get there, right? What is going to make you feel like you are the best that you can be? Some people want to be rich and famous. Most people do not, right? That's not their goal. Especially after all of these things come out about what famous people are doing on a regular basis. You're like, I'd rather just live a regular life. But anyway, get that vision in your head, write it down, and then we make a plan. I want to make sure that you don't discount or sacrifice love to get there, though. All right. So, because for me, what is life without love? Again, like we talked about at the top of this, at the top of, I was going to say the hour, but 30 minutes ago. Yeah, love is important. It's an essential human need. It is something that we all need. I believe God is love, and I believe that we're all connected through the Creator, right? So, how can we connect without the element, the what God is? God is love. And so, if we're expected to move about the way we were designed to move about, it's either difficult or unpleasant to do so without love. All right, so we have to think about, how does love fit in? Where does love fit in? And when is the best time for love? I am not saying that you need to drop everything and find your mate. Absolutely not. especially since I'm talking to my entrepreneurial, ambitious leaders out there, right? Success is important, but it's not more important than love. We got to find balance. And so that's 30 minutes. So now I'm about to rush. I apologize. All right. So now, when it comes to your life and what I do as a life coach, I help you prioritize and schedule accordingly. You have to be okay or learn to be okay with saying no and not overscheduling yourself, because self-care is important, sleep is important. I had to start making myself go to bed at midnight, whether I had finished a task or not, because I had come accustomed to I have been called a workaholic, and I don't like those words that end in holic. All right, but I have been called that, and quite possibly because I like to work until the work is done. I don't really like, I make a things to do list, and I like to check everything off of the things to do list. Now, there was a time when I would make a daily things to do list. And so, yes, I will work tirelessly until everything was checked off. I have now learned to make a weekly things to do list and prioritize based on the day and time that I think something can be done, but also allow myself the grace to move some things around. And then sometimes I may have to move some of those things from last week's things to do list to next week's things to do list. It depends. And I have to give myself grace because things happen, right? People get sick. People find themselves in bad situations. People have car accidents. All kinds of things could happen. Emergencies. All right. So you have to give yourself grace. But again, prioritize and schedule. So if you have an important deadline to meet, let's just say you have a grant that you are writing, you're applying for. The grant is due at midnight on Wednesday, but your girlfriend calls you. There's a Usher concert in town. I don't know if that's your person or not, but I know somebody who really likes Usher, so that would be a thing, right? What's more important, going to this Usher concert or meeting the deadline for this grant? Depends on your lifestyle, right? But I'm talking to the entrepreneurial, ambitious, driven women. You're going to have to catch Usher another time if you really need this grant money. And grants, some people are amazing at writing grants. They get every grant they apply for. Everybody's not. It takes time. So you can't look at that grant like, oh, there'll be another one, right? Not if you need the money for your business. So I'm saying prioritize and schedule accordingly. All right. What's really important for your lifestyle? And do you need to go back to your vision board, if you want to make a vision board or a checklist or whatever it is that you have to keep your vision in front of you? Is going to that Usher concert going to get you there? Or is submitting that grant application going to get you there? All right. Oh, that's it? Okay. So, yes, as a life coach, I'm all about responsibilities, but I do help you um, streamline and get clarity on your vision. I help you make a plan. I help you execute that plan. Not necessarily, I don't personally help you execute it, but I stay on you as a coach to make sure you meet your goals. And if there are obstacles in your way or things that happen between the times that we talk, to evaluate those things and find out what you can do to get back on track. You can find me at Linktree /I am Aisha Isreal for the many services that I provide. I'm an author, I'm a life coach, I'm a speaker, I'm a podcaster, I am the but founder of Boss Chicks International. I connect women, we have events. You can meet all types of wonderful people, and I do need to get on my video testimonial so you will know just how amazing Boss Chicks International is. I have an amazing team, and we are all ambitious business owners or creators of some kind. If you have questions, please send them to me. You can DM me on social media at I am Aisha Israel. That's IAMAISHAISREAL.com. I keep saying .com. It's not .com. It's, you know how Instagram is. It's just I am Aisha Israel. But you should be able to find me. If not, you can go to Boss Chicks International on Instagram, and I can find you there. But again, Boss Chicks International is a shared account. There I have business partners, so it's not just me. And so if you want to reach just me, it's I am Aisha Israel. And I think that's it. Don't forget to list your business in the directory, boss dash chicks dash international dot mn.co. I had to say that slowly because it's kind of a tongue twister when you spell out boss chicks. All right, so I appreciate you taking your life and business seriously and wanting to get the information. And I look forward to talking to you directly so we can get your plan going. Have a great day and a great evening. Thank you guys. Bye.